Hey there guys, what's going on? Gale here. Welcome back to the YouTube channel once again for another Genshin Impact video. And today we are here to take a look at the brand new team bonus effect and the elemental reactions that are coming in Ncry. And along with that, we do have a brand new character skill showcase for Llama as well. So we're going to break it down together. We're going to take a look at what this new team bonus is. Is it going to be something that is going to be a good thing or a bad thing? We'll discuss that together as well, because of course, you know, whenever there's anything new in terms of a team bonus effect and it's limited to a certain region potentially, it's going to be a bit of a problem in that sense and a bit concerning. So we'll break it down together, we'll talk about it, and of course I want to see your guys' opinions in the comment section down below. What do you guys think about this brand new team bonus effect, and what are your thoughts so far on Lunar reaction? Of course, I've seen a lot of people already upload Llama's design or performance already on their YouTube channels, their showcase. That's the word I was looking for. And so we kind of get we already know and kind of have an idea on how her performance is going to look like, of course, in her team. So let me know your thoughts. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say down below in the comment section. But today I want to go over it myself and see what's in store for us when we get into Ncry. So the Blessing of Moonlight, new team bonus effect, and elemental reaction. Greetings, traveler. Welcome to Ncry, where dreams of paradise and wanderers intersect. Influenced by the ancient moon's remnants, Ncry is not governed by any of the 7 elements. Instead, it is permeated by an ancient form of elemental energy. Over time, those who dwell here have slowly adapted and begun to explore this blessing bestowed by the moonlight. Alright. Following the Lunar Charge reaction, version Luna 1 will introduce even more moon-themed combat mechanics. Let's take a look. New team bonus effect, MOONSIGN. Some characters in Ncry are blessed by the moonlight. Adding them to your party increases the MOONSIGN level and grants corresponding enhancements. These characters are known as MOONSIGN characters. Okay. Taking Aino as an example, when Aino is in the party's MOONSIGN will increase by 1 level based on the character's passive talent. After the version Luna 1, you can invite Aino by progressing through the main story and getting through Act 1, A Dance of Snowy Tides and Hoarfrost Groves. Now, I want to take a look at what the max requirements are for MOONSIGN characters, because if it's just like how it is in the other scenarios, right, with like, oh, 2 Hydra characters give you the bonus, right? 2 cryo characters give the bonus, right? If it's just 2 Ncry characters give you the bonus, it's okay, assuming Aino actually is a really good performing character. And from what I've seen based on Llama showcases and stuff, she's really solid, right? With her consistent bursts and stuff like that, she's going to be an actually really solid unit to potentially get and have on the team. Kind of wish she was on Llama's banner so I could get more copies of her, but alas, we'll have to just leave that for a later date, unfortunately, in that sense. But anyways, Aino being a free character will automatically give us effectively a free MOONSIGN level, right? And if you go for any other Ncry character, I'd imagine Inefa, they have to add it to Inefa. I'm assuming they'll give it to Inefa as well. When the update happens, they'll probably give it to Inefa as well, because I'd be very surprised if she doesn't get a free MOONSIGN. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, if they don't plan on doing that. But Lauma will have one, Flynn's will have one, and I assume other Ncry based characters will get one. When we get to it, and we get Varka, for example, we get Sandrone, Alice, or Nicole, I don't think any of them will get it, but like I said, units like Nefer, Flynn's, Lauma, Columbina, these are characters that will probably get this MOONSIGN level, but I hope it's limited to only 2, because that way it makes life so much easier. Because I know free character, you can use her as 1 MOONSIGN character immediately right there, and she's actually pretty solid to have as a, for example, Hydra applicator, right? And then on the other side, you have Llama or Nefer or Flynn's or whoever it may be giving you the other MOONSIGN level, and that's all you need, right? That's 2, and that's all you need. So let's see now. The MOONSIGN level of your party will vary based on how many MOONSIGN characters are in the party. Including 1 or 2 MOONSIGN characters, which is a big thumbs up already, in your party will grant Nascent Gleam or Ascendant Gleam, respectively. So that is perfect. That is all we needed to know. 1 or 2, which is perfect. You'll still get a bonus with 1 character, which is, again, I think still also very nice. 2 is the max you need. Brilliant. I think that is a huge W in my personal opinion. going any more than that, it's difficult, right? 3 characters from Ncry, come on now, that would be a very big challenge. So what kind of boost do Nascent Gleam and Ascendant Gleam give? Based on the moon sign level, all characters in the party can provide various enhancements either to themselves or the party. Moon sign characters gain enhancements on some of their skills and talent effects when in the Nascent Gleam or Ascendant state. For example, when in the Ascendant Gleam state, Aino's elemental burst will be enhanced with a wider area of effect and a higher firing frequency. Okay, that is going to be interesting to say the least. So it isn't necessarily like the other bonuses necessarily, right? For example, it's not like Hydro where you'd get more max HP, right? Or like Cryo where if the enemy is frozen, you get crit rate, right? It's nothing like that. This is effectively enhancing the character's kit, which on one hand, it'll be amazing to have, and of course, super nice, and you know, it'll enhance the character more in their teams that they're supposed to be. But my issues come down to one, it'll limit that character, that specific teams or those set of teams, and in the future when we get to say Seznaya and stuff, they'll still be stuck on teams that are focused on characters from Ncry. And then the second issue is that the base character is going to probably be weaker without the moon sign level, right? Which is a problem in itself, in that, oh, their base kit is not complete, if you get what I'm saying, right? If you get what I'm saying, I think that it just feels like you know, you're restricting the character. I would have rather the moon sign affect the characters in other ways, or you know, affect the lunar damage, which we'll take a look here. It's about, I think that's what they're gonna say in a second, but I think that's where it should have been. All lunar reactions get a 20% bonus damage or something like that. I think we would have been a-okay with that, and I think it would have been fine. But yeah, that's just my personal opinion. So let's see. When in the Ascendant Gleam state, non-moon sign characters can provide bonus lunar reaction damage for the entire party by using their elemental skills or bursts. Effect lasts 20 seconds up to a maximum bonus of 36%. So basically, if you use your skills at the right moment, even non-moon sign characters can give the whole party a big boost to lunar reaction damage that lasts. In my opinion, that is what needed to be done. This is what they needed. They didn't, I don't think this part was required at all, to be honest. The fact that the kit becomes a better version of it than before, you know what I'm saying? I think that would have been nicer. Anyways, lunar reactions. Now this is going to be very interesting. I want to see what it does. Exposure to the moon's energy has enabled certain characters to manipulate the power of moonlight. They can convert some of the reactions triggered by all the characters in the party into specific lunar reactions. So Inefa converts all hydro electro elemental reactions triggered by all characters in the party into lunar charge, and Llama can convert it all into lunar bloom if it's with hydro and dendro. So far, all the lunar stuff has been with hydro, so I don't think we're going to be getting, like, for example, lunar aggravate, quicken, or anything of that sort, which makes sense as well. Moon, water, there's a combination going on there, right? Makes sense. But I do hope that we do get something, for example, for like lunar vape, right? Maybe lunar freeze. I don't know if that's gonna even how that's gonna work, but lunar freeze would be kind of cool. Lunar swirl, but with only hydro specifically. We'll have to wait and see on that front. I think if those 3 things are introduced, I think we'll be fine, because then it's at least an even spread across the board. But we're gonna have to wait and see, of course, right? So lunar charge reaction. Triggering lunar charge will summon thunderclouds that continuously release bursts of lightning at nearby targets who are affected by both electro and hydro. The thundercloud damage is based on all characters who have applied elements during the reaction. This makes the party's overall output simpler and more reliable. Lunar Bloom. The Lunar Bloom reaction preserves the original Bloom reaction effects and additionally grants the party the Verdant Dew resource. Certain characters with unique abilities can convert Verdant Dew into enhancements in combat, boosting damage or providing other unexpected effects. So we'll take a look at that in a second. I have Llama's skill showcase up in a second. I like the idea of lunar reactions. I do wish they were a little bit more than what they are, because they're basically just taking the base version and making, you know, removing their issues, which is fair. That's a way to do it, I suppose, but still, I think it would have been nicer if we had maybe taken it in a different direction potentially as well. I'm okay with this moon sign stuff to a degree. I just don't like this whole thing of like, oh, the character's kit becomes better because you have them on moon sign level, whereas it should have just been maybe something like this, where you get bonus lunar reaction damage, but alas, we'll have to just wait and see how it actually pans out when the actual version update comes out and people are able to test it properly, you know. All right, let's take a look at Llama first right now quickly. Hello traveler, next we're bringing you information on the combat style of Llama, Moon Chanter of the Frost Moon Scions. I keep saying Frost Bearer Scions sometimes, which I do apologize. I don't know why. I think it's just from something else entirely that I'm thinking of, but that's why it's just been Frost Bearer or Frost Moon. I've just been mixing the two. Alright, during the first week of the character wish, you'll have daily access to your unlocked talent material domains. I think that's fantastic. Wish to just make it unlocked all the time, but it's good that they're at least making it available that in the first week you're able to just access all the talent material domains. Super nice in that sense, and it's gonna be for every character, so you'll at least have it 2 weeks out of the 6-week patch. All the talent domains will be active, which is awesome. I think that's fantastic. Hydro Dendro Res Reduction, damage boost for all bloom reactions, and sustained off-field Dendro damage. Okay, so let's talk about Llama and why I think she's a good character to summon for. And the reason why she's a good character to summon for is because she's basically looking like she's going to be a support character. Now, one thing to note, Genshin is kind of becoming like HS... Well, I say it's kind of, but no, it has always been like this, in that Genshin's supports are always well worth summoning for. I mean, you look in the past, Kazuha, Raiden, Furina, Yelan, I mean, we go over and take a look at technically Yaimiko as well, if we're going to be honest, Yaimiko. Anything that's off-field or support-based in that sense have always been super valuable to summon for. You know, we even look at more recent ones like Furina, Setlaldi, Shilonen. Like, these supports are insane to summon for. Genshin's always, you know, these supports are long-lasting. I mean, let's be real. Raiden has been extremely well utilized even till now, right? I will say Kazuha, Raiden, all of these characters have slowly started to fade out, but it's more so the case of they've just been replaced by potentially other versions of, you know, characters that are more recent, basically, right? That's why I feel like going for Llama is going to be pretty good, especially if you're somebody who has Nilo and running Bloom or whatever. If you're wanting to go back in time and, you know, consider that, that's something to keep in mind of. And remember, Lauma is an off-field character. That means she's not even the main DPS for Lunar Bloom. That might end up being somebody like Nefer, for example. We know Nefer is probably going to be Dendro. I think we did see her vision, but generally because of the coloration, don't get me wrong, Genshin's doing a better job in making sure that the character's outfit does not match their element all the time, but they still do it. And so Nefer is most likely going to be Dendro. I would be very surprised if she ends up being like Pyro or something, but Nefer might end up being the main DPS. So if you're planning on going for Nefer, somebody like Lauma may be a required character to get in order to go well with Lauma, or in order to, you know, get the 100% from Nefer, you know. So just keep that in mind. All right, let's take a look at Bloom reactions damage boost. This is what Lauma's many talents provide to Bloom reactions. Oh, Bloom crit hit, Bloom reactions damage boost, crit rate bonus, Lunar Bloom, Hyper Bloom, Bloom Burgeon. So that does confirm basically that Lunar Bloom will give crit basically. Okay, in that sort of situation, of course, you know, we obviously did my tier list for all the free constellations, which you guys can go and check out. I think it's going to be maybe a good idea to potentially get so, you know, all the crit damage stuff that we can get from Nilo, because that'll be really useful. So yeah, these are the characters she'll be good with: Nahida, Nilo, Aino, Kuki Shinobu, Shinsho, Toma. I think at least at the initial point, you're probably going to go for something like Lauma, Kokomi, or no, not even Kokomi, Aino, Nilo, and maybe a fourth Dendro character like Nahida, maybe for now. And then of course, depending on what we get in the future, that might change the teams accordingly, right? But I think you're probably going to go for something like that for now, I feel. Sustained Dendro damage. When Lauma's elemental skill is active, it deals sustained Dendro damage and applies Dendro to opponents nearby, regardless of whether she's on-field or off-field, for up to 15 seconds. Okay, that's completely fine. I think that'll be really solid. One more details, keep reading Traveler. Normal attack, charge attack, changes form, reduces Hydro, Dendro, Res, and sustained off-field Dendro damage. We saw that. Multiple instances of Bloom reactions, damage boost in the Elemental Burst, and talent details, multiple enhancement effects, and local speciality tracking. I'm gonna... Okay, that kind of makes me want to get Llama more, because then it'll be easier for me to find shit in the overworld. Alright. So this is her normal attacks, performs up to 3 attacks dealing Dendro damage. Llama transforms into an envoy of the Tranquil Forest and charges forward. After exiting the envoy state, the transformation will enter cooldown, during which charge attacks will deal AoE Dendro damage to the front. Okay, very straightforward there. So this is her elemental skill, Runo Dauntless Rest of Karsico. Summons a Frostgrove Sanctuary, which deals sustained Dendro damage to opponents in the area and lowers their Dendro and Hydro res. Produces different effects depending on whether the skill is tapped or held. Tap just deals AoE Dendro damage. Hold, it requires at least 1 Verdant Dew, and it consumes all Verdant Dew to deal 1 instance of AoE Dendro damage, and 1 instance of AoE Dendro damage considered as a Lunar Bloom damage. Each Verdant Dew consumes 1 stack of Moonsong, which can stack up to 3 times. Verdant Dew is a shared resource unique to the Lunar Bloom reactions. Under certain conditions, Hydro and Dendro elements will trigger the Lunar Bloom reaction and generate Verdant Dew, which you can see on this side basically, which is pretty good. I love the fact that they make it very obvious on where it is, to be honest. I think that's very good, to be honest. I'm just glad that it's visibly noticeable and in a very clear way. Thank you so much. But yeah, or the Moonsong stacks. This is very good. It's very, very good. Alright, Elemental Burst. Multiple instances of Bloom reactions damage boost. Using the skill grants 18 stacks of Pale Hymn and provides related enhancements. When Llama uses her Elemental Burst while possessing Moonsong, or when she gains Moonsong within 15 seconds of using her Elemental Burst, all of the available Moonsongs are consumed and converted to Pale Hymn. Each Moonsong grants Llama 6 Pale Hymn stacks. This effect can only be triggered once for each Elemental Burst used, including the 15 seconds following its use. When nearby characters deal Bloom-related damage, Llama consumes 1 Pale Hymn to increase damage dealt based on her elemental mastery. Now here's the really, really important part, Traveler. Hold her skill to get 3 stacks of Moonsong, which will give her Q more buffs. So effectively, the idea is that you want to make sure that she gets all the Verdant Dew stacks, right? And then once she gets all the Verdant Dew stacks, or the Moonsong stacks, basically these things, you then use her burst to be able to get maximum damage basically with her, basically. And you want to scale her off elemental mastery. So I think her kit is, and this is, again, I haven't watched any of the videos because I'd like to, you know, experience it for myself, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna go EM focused on her, surely, right? I do wonder what weapons will be the best for her. I do think, if I'm not mistaken, I do think the brand new event weapon will give elemental mastery, if I'm not mistaken, which is going to be fantastic. And I think it's going to be really useful for her if you're looking for a free option. That's going to be pretty good. But yeah, I think it'll be nice. It'll be definitely very, very nice. Llama provides different boosts based on the party's moonsign, such as Bloom Crit Hit. This makes her highly adaptable to different lineups. The higher her elemental mastery, the stronger the boost. So you want to just go EM basically for her, which is fantastic. Alright, depending on the party's moonsign, different enhancements will take effect within 20 seconds after Llama uses her elemental skill. Enhancements provided by different moonsign levels cannot stack. So Bloom, Hyper Bloom, and Burgeon damage dealt by all nearby party members can score crit hits, with crit rate fixed at 15% and crit damage fixed at 100%. Crit rate from this effect stacks with crit rate from similar effects that allow these elemental reactions to crit. All nearby members Lunar Bloom damage, crit rate plus 10%, crit damage plus 20%. There you go. There is your answer there, basically, to that last sentence there. For every point of elemental mastery that Llama has, will grant her following effects. So 0.04% skill damage up to a maximum of 32%. They're gonna get me to need the calculator here. So 1 second. 32 divided by 0.04. What is that? 800 EM you need there, basically. That's 800 EM required. Then you need, okay, so this reduces the cooldown by a maximum of 20%, which is, I think that's 1000 EM, if I'm not mistaken. That's a pretty obvious one. I did it the other way around. Whoopsie. 0.02, 1 second. 20 divided by 0.02. I think this is 1000. 1000 EM. So 1000 EM will give you 20% maximum cooldown. So you basically want to approach towards 1000 EM basically. Obviously, I think 800 EM is probably where you at least need to be for the maximum skill damage, but at least with the cooldown side of things, you're probably going to be at need to be at 1000, but that's for the charged attack only realistically, so keep that in mind. You need more. Okay, let's take a look at this now. When a party member triggers a bloom reaction, it will be converted into lunar bloom reaction. With every point of elemental mastery, you increase the base damage from by 0.0175% to a maximum of 14%, and then when Llama is in the party, Moonsign will increase by 1 level, and then you get basically an access to resources in Ncry, which is very simple. So this one will probably be, I think this is gonna be again also like what 800 EM. Yeah, 800 EM. You basically need to be at 800 EM to get the max damage bonus, basically. That's the idea. And these are the materials she needs. Again, these are all new materials. We can't get them until we actually do it. But once we do the test run and, of course, the Archon quest, we'll be able to increase her to level 60 just like that, basically. So keep that in mind. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I really like the look of Llama. Very supportive, very much obviously focused on lunar bloom for sure, no doubt, but I do think that especially if you are somebody who was running bloom during Sumeru and want to go back to it, I think it's not a bad idea to consider going for it, of course, right? But if you are done with bloom, you don't want to go for bloom anymore, I think Llama's an easy skip in that sense, to be honest, unless you really like the character and stuff, of course, right? Just keep in mind also, if you're going for an affair, there's a very good chance you will want to get Llama for her. So keep that in mind. Now, of course, like I said, there should be a free weapon that we're getting. I think we are getting a free weapon in the event coming up, and it is giving EM. I could be wrong. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure that's the case, unless I'm just tripping and I'm just getting it from somewhere and I'm just speaking from my arse, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. So in that situation, I would say you don't even need to get her weapon, just get the event weapon, get her, and then move on to an affair or something. But yeah, just keep in mind, you don't need her if you don't plan on going for an affair or you're planning on running bloom. So just in that situation, I would say it's fine if you want to skip in that case. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about Llama. What do you guys think from what you've seen? Do you guys think her performance is really good? Are you guys planning on getting her? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take it easy, everybody. Bye bye.